Hello and welcome. The goal of this podcast is to get listeners connected with others in the sports industry because they say it's all about who you know, and now you know us. All right, hello and welcome, constant sports fans and friends. We're here with another episode. Today we have the OG cast and crew here. We got Mr. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 as well as 𝗏𝗏 joining us today. Today we're going to do a little rundown of March Madness, some NIL stuff within there, talk a little Kentucky, Calipari, UConn, transfer portal, some Masters, a little bit of basketball, football here. Nothing too crazy. Keep in the sports sector, of course. And I know that with the NFL draft coming up, we'll touch on that a little bit up there at the end. But Mr. Coleman's our resident basketball aficionado. So, Mr. Coleman, kind of give us a recap of, your last 2 or 3 weeks, I guess, live action. I know it's been longer than that, kind of from what are the things you've been working on, but, kind of where were you, what were you doing? What was the atmosphere like?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate you having me on. Always happy to be here with both of you guys. And I guess kind of recap of the last couple of weeks. Company I work for puts on the high school and college slam dunk and 3-point championships. So you may have seen the college event Thursday night on ESPN, a couple days before the Final Four down in Phoenix. So I was down there helping put on high school, which was done on Wednesday, but taped and then shown on CBS on Sunday, right after the day after the national semifinal games. And then College Slam was, like I said, Thursday night before the 2 Final Four games, hosted at GCU live on ESPN. It was a great event. GCU fans showed out. So we had the men's 3, the women's 3. The 2 champions took each other on, and then we had the dunk contest as well, and it was great atmosphere, a lot of energy, and a really good event. And we put up some good numbers viewership wise on ESPN, so definitely a cool experience to be a part of and kind of be in the host city of Final Four, and kind of an event that's separate from the Final Four but still has a lot of star power from the college basketball world. So definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, no doubt. And maybe talk to us a little bit about, how you got, I guess, Mr. NIL himself, the hot topic of the tournament, you could say, the gentleman from Oakland. How, I mean, was it kind of pulling teeth to get him in? What was it like kind of last minute, or was he there all along, I guess?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Obviously, unless you're like a diehard Oakland basketball fan, nobody knew who he was before Oakland played Kentucky, and then he had the big outing that really pushed a lot of dominoes in the direction of why Calipari is now at Arkansas and Mark Pope's at Kentucky. But he kind of started it all, and right after that performance, we still had a couple open spots in the field for the men's 3, and kind of knew that that was a guy that would attract a lot of attention. So some upper management guys in our basketball department kind of got in touch with him, and we were able to get him out to Phoenix to participate in the event. And he was a crowd favorite at GCU, but funny enough, he lost in the opening round of the men's 3-point championship, which Calipari was actually in attendance because Antonio Reeves, a guard from Kentucky, was in it as well. So I was joking around with my coworkers, like Calipari was probably kicking himself that Jack Golpe was
Missing
missing
these
wide
shots.
open
Yeah.
threes in this event, but couldn't seem to miss against Kentucky. So, yeah, we were able to get him, and it was pretty awesome. And while he was out there, he actually filmed a couple different NIL shoots with different brands that we had as partners for the event. So, kind of able to check a lot of boxes there.
Yeah, it's that was cool kind of seeing you on live TV there, one of our own, working the crowd there, Mr. Coleman out there pumping up the crowd, getting the whatever they call themselves, the Havocs crazy. And I don't know, Sal, we were talking about before, but you want to talk a little bit about maybe kind of like the NIL, Kentucky. I don't know which one of those you want to kind of tackle first. I guess I'll give you the floor as you actually are native or our native Kentucky voice over there on that side of the world. So floor is
Well,
yours.
I don't know if I can take credit fully for being a native, but I do know a lot of people in that region. I'll put it that way. Callan, that was a great breakdown. we're very proud of you, and it was quite the honor seeing you live in action there.
Yep.
Just following along on that, yeah, I think one of the biggest stories, obviously outside of the wrap up of the college basketball season where UConn was the crowned champion, was the fact that Coach Cal ended up departing. This news actually broke the night before the national championship. Funny how that works. Coach Cal finds a way to make himself the star of the show.
Yeah.
Correct. Having that news break prior to the national championship game, but yeah, he found his way down to Arkansas and kind of just rolling that into NIL. That was a big component of it, as he talked about. Now in Arkansas, he has the NIL package already taken care of that he doesn't have to work on. That Arkansas has a more advanced, developed NIL program to help with him and his basketball program. So that was an interesting piece. And to note on that, Tyson's Chicken.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that the big dog, right? The Tysons?
Big time in Arkansas. I mean, when you're talking during 𝗡𝗙𝗄𝗄𝗄's press conference, they gave the Tyson Chicken booster a bigger round of applause than they did to him. Standing ovation for him.
Well, it's because they know. Yeah, they got it.
Where the money's coming from. And one last piece, then we can kind of throw it, get more dialogue on the Kentucky side, was I think it's good to note one of the best lines in a press conference from Calipari. I met with the team. There is no team.
Yep.
It shows where we are in college.
Right.
College
Well, and
athletics
that kind of leads us into a few different topics, but we'll go back to the NIL. But I wanted to talk about the poll we had for Kentucky. We had a poll up for our followers there, and it was, did you think Kentucky made the right hire? We had a 60-40 breakdown. Would you gentlemen be curious to know the 60? So did you think Kentucky made the right hire? Yes or no? What do you think the 60-40 was? You think it was yes 60 or no 60?
Go ahead, Cal.
I'm gonna say I think it was no 60 is my guess from the poll, but I can see it both ways. I have an opinion on both sides, so I don't know. I'm curious to kind of see what the actual shakeout was.
Yeah, following up on that, I would tend to agree and lean towards that. However, what I saw during the Kentucky's head coach press conference, where this was during Sunday during the Masters, while most of America is watching and enjoying the Masters, the people in Kentucky have a sold out packed Rupp Arena for a head coach press conference. So I'm going to lean 60% yes.
Yep. Great breakdown there. It was 60% yes, 40% said no, that was the wrong hire. So I thought that was interesting. And kind of staying in the NIL space, backtrack a little bit. We obviously saw you mentioned kind of Tyson being the big dog over there at Arkansas, but Mr. 𝗀𝗀𝗄𝗄 himself, I guess, was it I forget his last name, Doug Eckert from last year. You guys remember that?
Eder?
What was it?
Eder.
Yeah, that
Eder.
guy.
Yeah.
That guy. I mean, what's he was on the Peacocks, whatever team that was.
Yeah,
St. Peter's.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, he was, Buffalo. Wow. I mean, that dude just, I feel like every year there's one just random dude that comes through the March Madness tournament and then just takes over. And then, I mean, like this year's 𝗀𝗀𝗄𝗄, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I think we're missing a big athlete that took advantage of NIL this year, and that's DJ Burns, NC State. The big man.
Right.
He got a lot of attention as NC State made their run to the Final Four. We're talking a lot of promotion, not only in NIL deals where there's the alleged or reports out there that he's made over hundreds of thousands of dollars during this run, but also promotion of his vending machines, as he's an entrepreneur on that side, owning vending machines. So
what do we have here? I'm not familiar with this vending machine story. So we have Mr. Burns does vending machines.
That's correct.
Right.
Pat McAfee show. A lot of promotion for the vending machines.
Interesting. Okay, so he's got like his own little vending machines kind of around the state or around there, or how's that work? Do you know?
That's correct. Yeah, multiple.
All right. Well, side note, I have heard vending machines is a decent business to get in, low cost entry to get in, and then you just provide it with snacks and whatnot. So, side note for our entrepreneurs out there looking to start a vending machine business. But I guess as the winner, UConn, back-to-back champs, trying to go for the three-peat. Count, you probably know this, but I have no idea when the last three-peat happened in college basketball, if ever. I mean, I guess UCLA probably
It
did
would have
back
been,
in
yeah,
the
the
day.
UCLA years.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, I did pick I did pick UConn rather to win the tournament there. I had 3 out of the 4 Final Four teams. So not saying I am, the basketball
Say
genius on this
what?
You
podcast.
had you had Bama in there?
Yeah, I had Bama, Purdue, and UConn in my
Oh, I
Final
don't
Four.
believe this for a second.
It's,
I don't,
it's,
I
it's,
feel like this should be on our platform. This should have been posted out.
well, I did.
Instead, we're just like hiding it and now just taking claim to
I
it
mean,
2
you
weeks
got
after.
Mr. Coleman was giving me a hard time because I didn't didn't watch a single minute of college basketball until until tournament came out. But let me see if I can. I'll find it. I'll put a screenshot up. But yeah, Calvin, talk to us about what you think UConn's chances are about going three-peat. Where do they rank among the best teams in college basketball, and then so you can take them there.
I mean, three-peat wise would be tough, but I didn't think a two-peat was possible
Really?
until like they kind of well, once the tournament started, everyone knew it was possible. But going into the season, like they had lost 3 starters from last year's team that won the national championship. So it was kind of like a hey, they'll start in the top 10. I think they started the year like anywhere from 5 to 7, if I remember correctly. And then kind of just started playing well, and their only losses throughout the year were at Kansas. They lost a game at Creighton when Creighton couldn't miss from 3, and Creighton's an explosive offense, so everyone's due for one of those. And then I believe they lost a game at Seton Hall, and those were the only 3 throughout the entire year, which is pretty wild. And what makes it impressive is, like I mentioned, they lost 3 starters from the previous national championship team. So they're turning over a completely new roster, which says a lot about the job that Hurley does and kind of getting everyone to buy in. And then the most impressive thing of all, which I'm sure everyone has seen, is they've covered 12 straight games in the NCAA tournament. 6 games last year and 6 games this past year. Oh, there it is.
Just for the viewers and people out there, this is my Final Four pick. Sorry to cut you off there, Calvin, but UConn, Alabama here. Purdue, obviously, no one's going to have a perfect 4 for 4, but there it is. So sorry, Calvin, to cut you off. Proceed.
I mean, that's impressive. I think that was worthy of it.
Very
But
impressive.
yeah, what I was just saying, it's kind of insane that 12 games in a row they've covered. I think the closest game was a 13-point victory, which I believe came in last year's tournament, actually. Trying to remember the dominance they've had. So it was crazy kind of what they were able to do. The Purdue game was never really close. It was a good first half, and in the second half they just blew the doors off of them. And then going into next year, I mean, they're already reloading in the portal. Klingon, the big center, declared for the draft a couple days ago, and they went and picked up a big center from Michigan who's young and has a lot of talent and is coming from a Michigan program that had their worst season in Michigan history. So this kid is good though, and like should help kind of fill that void, and we'll see sort of where they go next.
Well, I was curious where Hurley is his contract ranks, and from this article I'm looking at, he's not even doesn't even look like he's top 25 in the nation at regarding salary.
He'll
That's
get a
correct.
pay raise soon.
I mean, you'd have to, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know
I
what are
mean,
we doing over there?
I know
Well,
he was on the list for Kentucky, were the rumors. Obviously, why would Kentucky not take a swing? And UConn kind of came back and said they were going to match whatever Kentucky threw, or at least try their hardest. But I don't think Hurley was ever leaving in the first place, because when you're on the top of the world, why would you want to go somewhere with all this pressure where if you don't win, like, good luck. But yeah, I would expect a new one to come very soon, and he'll probably be there for the foreseeable future, if you were to ask me.
That's a great point you're bringing up here, Callan and Connor. I was just actually listening to Hurley on the Dan Patrick show, and it's clear what he's going for. Obviously, the money's important and everything, but he's an NBA guy. It's clear in what the trajectory is. You can see the dominance he's already having here in UConn. I see him playing this out a little longer, but ultimately the rumor is that he's gunning for the New York Knicks job. That's the job he wants. That'll be the job that once that's open, and if he's offered it, he'll take that.
All right, good enough. So Sal's got boots on the ground. Dan Hurley to the New York Knicks.
Well, because I'll tell you what, money wise, who knows, anyone can make whatever, but allegedly the offer was 100 mil over 8 years from Kentucky to Hurley.
Yep.
12.5.
Yeah.
That's 12.5 a year. I believe that's more than Kirby Smart makes coaching Georgia football.
It is.
So just to throw it out there, so it's all on the table. That's kind of big time.
Yeah, that'll keep the lights on and the gas bill running, that's for sure.
Yes.
I guess staying in kind of the college basketball world, Cal, and I guess college sports world rather. County touched on a little bit about kind of UConn had to reload I guess it's University of Colorado doing. Everyone's doing it. People are going more into portal rather than like high school. Because if you think about it seems like it makes a little bit more sense because you're getting a tested and tried product rather than trying out at a high school for, senior that's going to come and be a freshman. Well, why wouldn't you just go to, a sophomore or junior that's played Division I, in this example, football or basketball? So in that sense, that makes sense to me personally. But we did actually run another poll here with the biggest challenge facing college sports today, whether it's the transfer portal, the unknown, I guess, kind of laws, legality, that stuff, super leagues, and then other. And I had a LinkedIn and a Twitter poll. So we had the majority, rather, 63% said the transfer portal. So, gentlemen, as two smart minds, how are we going to fix the transfer portal?
Yeah, I'll jump in here, Callan, and then if you want, you can follow up, because I just wanted my quick point on that is I think the idea of the transfer portal is great. I think there's stuff that happens and people should have the opportunity to change and go to a better fit. However, I think the main problem why it's a problem right now is the way it's structured, whether the timing of it. For college basketball, just because we were on it, we're talking about the transfer portal opening during the tournament or before the tournament. Like, you're punishing the good teams that are actually making it through, and you're having people quit mid-game, or not mid-game, excuse me, mid-tournament and that kind of thing, mid-season. So I think that's the main problem with the transfer portal at this point.
Yeah, I kind of second everything you said there, the good parts of it. Like, an example with Cal going to Arkansas, like, anyone who's at Kentucky or was committed to Kentucky should have the option to reopen their recruitment or, enter the portal to go somewhere else, because a lot of the guys signed the letter of intent to play at Kentucky because of the fact that Calipari was there. So I think that's fair. It also helps guys at, smaller schools kind of make a step up to the big leagues, a Power 6 school after performing well in season at a smaller school. But it's just they need to put more limits on it. I was kind of looking earlier today, and I think they're expecting 2,000 college basketball athletes to enter the portal before May 1st, which is, it's insane. Like, it hurts coaches and recruiting departments. It can be a benefit. Like, there are a couple guys on the UConn team that came in from the transfer portal this year and helped them win a national championship. But I think it does a lot of harm as well as a lot of good, and it's kind of, you got to figure out some way to do it. I remember doing a project on this when we were at ASU in the SLB program, and thinking then, like, we kept using the term wild, wild west. Like, it's only gotten worse since then. And they've got to figure out how to put some sort of restraint on it. And I'm not the one that has those ideas of how to do it. But I don't know. It's got to get fixed somehow, where it's not 2,000 guys in a portal, rosters changing daily, some schools having a completely new team. Like, there's got to be limits on it.
Right. And then I feel like I'm not saying like I was a big in the next school and like not missing class. But I feel like there's also that aspect to it where like a player can go to 4 different schools, in each coast, north, south, the whole deal. And then like there's no shot those kids are like those creds are ever transferring. So it's like the whole idea behind, kind of the
Well,
degree is
originally, I
shot.
know like the goal was kind of the initial rule was you're allowed to transfer one time
Right.
with no consequence, and then from there, like a second transfer, you'd have to sit out part of a season or an entire season. But the NCAA is also just granting waivers just like
Left
that.
and
Like
right.
someone
Yeah.
can say, "Hey, my aunt moved to this area of the country, like that's why I'm going to go play there." And it seems like the NCAA is very quick to kind of allow that to happen, which is part of the problem, and there's got to be a solution for it eventually.
Right. So were you gonna say something there?
Nope, I second all that. That's great insight there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and I'm sure they're, with all these, I mean, you got like Nick Saban, I mean, you got a bunch of these, I guess retired coaches or players, just lock them in a room, no windows, and someone just figure out how to make, college sports functional. Because right now, I mean, each state's got its own NIL regulations and laws, and then kids are transferring state, and then some schools are, obviously with collectives being a big player with a lot of these schools, as we refer to as Tyson dumping in some money to the collectives, and then Coach Pope going to Kentucky, and they already have I think it's like a 41 fund or something. He was like number 41 or something. So they have like a $41 package to support, all proceeds go to men's basketball. So it's like we're gonna have to figure out kind of, essentially each school is just paying their players through the collective, which was the NCAA's, anti not pay the players, but
Right.
that's basically what's happening. So it's either just like we got to figure out either collective bargaining. I don't know. Some people said unionizing. I mean, there's a few different, I guess, roads that could go down, but it'll definitely be an interesting space. I think it's one of the more college sports is one of the more intriguing sectors as of late. I mean, pro sports, I don't think that's really going anywhere. The big four, but college sports especially, like these super leagues, which is going to create kind of like NFL model, AFC, NFC type deal, and then just go after it. I don't know if I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting. So yeah, we'll see where that plays out, and then I guess moving forward, I guess recapping the Masters. I know we were talking about it a little bit, but Sal, I don't know if you want to take the lead here. I don't know if you're. I mean, we saw the viewership numbers. I don't know if you have anything to add regarding the viewership numbers. We saw Tiger moving the needle per usual. Yeah, we'll let you get the floor here.
Yeah, no, I mean, nothing really to know. I will point on the viewership numbers, excuse me. Unfortunately, they did go down based off of CBS's reporting from the past couple of years. So that's interesting to know. My guess or thoughts or opinion on it would be that there's still this uncertainty between the Live Golf and PGA Tour. I think that has caused a lot of golf fans to kind of hold out or kind of, if you will, boycott watching until that gets resolved. So they've got that kind of hanging over their head. But all accounts, the golf has a superstar in 𝗧𝗏 Scheffler. I mean, the man can flat out golf, and it's fun to watch. So it'll be interesting to continue seeing how his career progresses. And along that, I mean, there's just nothing like the Masters. Just I thought they did a fantastic job again with their presentation.
Yeah, no doubt. And then Cal, before you go, I want you to ask you this question, and maybe Sal, you can jump in if you want to. But I saw a comparison, and it was Scottie Scheffler and Patrick Mahomes, and then it was Tiger Woods and Tom Brady. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, seems like a fit to me, does it not to you, Sam?
Oh my gosh.
You don't like the comparison, Sal?
What's wrong with that
I
comparison?
think it's one of the better comparisons. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know where we off here.
I don't know. I think it's still early for Scotty. I do.
He's won 2 green jackets now.
Yeah, I agree. I know.
How many Super Bowls does Mahomes have? 2 or 3?
2.
2. He's been in 3.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was somewhat interesting because everyone's saying Mahomes is the GOAT already. In his early career, and he's still got who knows how many years he. I mean, well, Brady has 7. 7. He's been in 10. Interesting. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's what I mean is like I get it. I see the correlation,
You want the
but
longevity?
yes,
Too early to
yes,
tell for Mr. Caprita.
yes,
I
Okay.
mean,
yes.
I think you can stick around as a golfer for a while, like as long as his swing stays.
Right.
Like,
Oh, there's no doubt about it. But can you win consistently like Tiger does? Yeah, I feel like if it's been about a 2 year and a half stretch for Scotty at this point, right?
yeah, I think his first one, I
24.
believe, was at the Waste Management
Okay.
22.
Do golfers actually count that one? I mean, I feel like
Oh,
it's kind of a black
come on.
sheep. It's kind of the black sheep of the tournament, though,
Pretty
because
big pot.
It's
no,
a
I
big
know,
tournament.
it is, but no, I know. I'm just saying, like with the, I mean, it gives like live, like kind of like the live golf, like everyone's going nuts. I feel like some of the players, like Mr.
Well,
McIlroy doesn't enjoy it because everyone's chirping. So it's like,
well, that's a great point, and I know we're segueing off of the Masters here, but that was a big tournament this year, and there was a lot of discrepancy that happened. And future years, they are trying to get it under control. I see what you're saying about the chaos, but it is one of the more interesting events in the PGA schedule. And kind of as Callan was alluding to, there's a proper amount of money being divided out to the winners of that.
oh yeah, no, for sure. And then I wanted to kind of wrap up on an NFL note as we got the draft. I don't know whatever it is, 9, 10 days away. But
I think we're a
Mr.
week old,
We're a week away.
8 days out. Okay,
Yeah, next Thursday, I think.
next
Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay, perfect. Then I guess since we actually have an NFL owner in our midst, so we'll let Callan go first as he is the current owner of the Green Bay Packers. Maybe who would you like, since you'll be in the meeting room there in the war room? You're the GM and slash owner. What are your moves? You trying to move up in the draft, move back? What pieces are you going to add? Then we'll follow that up with Mr. Caprita himself as the GM of the Broncos and get his moves.
I think we're good with staying where we're at in the mid-20s, and would love to add a cornerback. So a lot of mocks I'm looking at that I like include 𝗡𝗙 from Iowa. So Midwest guy that would fit perfectly in Green Bay. As well as Kool-Aid McKinstry from Bama would be a good get. And, hopefully draft a tackle at some point. I don't know if it's worth moving up in the first round. The only way I see us moving up is to get that, infamous left tackle after Bakhtiari left. But that's kind of where I see us right now. I don't think we need to touch anything on the offensive side of the ball, at least in the early couple rounds. I think there's a bright future with every spot that we've got on the offensive end. So kind of excited to see how next year goes.
Perfect. All right. So what do we think?
Yeah, no, from the Broncos side, it'll be interesting. All you hear about is the quarterback at this point.
Bo Nix?
Bo Nix is a high possibility. That's why I remember we were on the pod last time, Connor, and I said trade back, draft Bo Nix or Penix. That's what I would do. But all you hear about is JJ McCarthy. That's all you hear about right now. And I just don't know.
I'm not seeing it.
Top four
I'm not
pick.
seeing it, dude. I would not do that.
I don't get it either.
I must be missing some. I watched Michigan, Penn State, and they didn't throw the ball in the second half, and I know why. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not trying to be a hater or anything, but I do not see a first round. I mean, obviously I'm not like a GM of a team, but just the eye test. I would not waste a top 5 pick. Maybe if he was there at the high 20s and then second round, sure, why not? But first round pick, yeah, that's pretty nuts.
All the hype came from his pro day, correct?
Well, we've
Pro
seen
days
that
will
play
get
out
you.
before. We asked the
Yeah.
Jets how that worked out for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But yeah, I mean, he might go as high as like a top 4 pick, which is wild.
That is. And then I guess before we wrap up, let me hear your projected, I guess, top 3 picks. Mine are, I would say Caleb Williams. I'll go Caleb Williams, as it is now, Bears, Commanders, Patriots. I'll go Caleb Williams. I'll go Jaden Daniels. And I got the Patriots taking Marvin Harrison.
Wow.
You don't think the Patriots need a QB?
I mean, they do need a QB, but There's got to be one in the second round. I think there'll be a run real quick, and then whatever one of those 5 quarterbacks doesn't get taken in the first, you take that guy in the second.
It's fair.
Smart.
What do we think? Have you guys thought about it for first 3 picks?
I think they're going to be 3 quarterbacks, but I could be wrong. I mean, Marvin Harrison is phenomenal. Could be a top wide receiver for years to come, but I would think it goes Caleb, Jaden, and then I don't know if you take Drake May at 3 or like
I don't see what that got either, to be honest.
Yeah, where that
Whoa,
ends up.
whoa.
I don't know. It's a lot of rookie quarterbacks that could be good, but realistically, like, I mean, if we're going off historical numbers, you would think no more than 2 of them are actually going to have a decent career, would be my guess.
That's correct.
But
Yep.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I've got Caleb 1, Jaden 2, Drake 3.
Okay, I like it. I do like the man out of there, South Carolina, Mr. Rattler. I know he kind of got a bad rap, but he can sling it now.
He can throw the
Especially, and he'll
football.
be around second, third round too, which especially if you're getting the deep water there in the third and fourth, that's one to watch for you NFL fans out there. But do you guys have any last words as we wrap up here?
Can't wait for college basketball season to start back up in November.
There it is. Okay.
We're in baseball season right now, Callan.
Yeah, I don't know if you
Yankees
guys
are
know.
hot. Yankees are hot. Go
not as-
Sono.
Not
Go
as hot
Sono.
as the Pods. Currently one of the hottest
Warming
teams
up.
in baseball. Yeah, they're looking good. So looking forward to that. And we'll maybe we'll do a little baseball podcast coming up here. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening and tuning in. We appreciate the love and support you guys have been showing. So this has been another episode of the Constant Sports podcast / show this week. And thanks to my 2 co-hosts and OG members of Constant Sports, Mr. Caprita and Mr. Coleman. And we'll see you guys next week.